Oh my heck. Good morning and welcome to Wholesome Roots. Boy, do I love those dogs. I can't believe how much Khaleesi has warmed up to us just by adding Titus to our family. It is such a blessing to see her so loving and playful with us after being so timid and fearful when we first got her. It warms my heart to no extent. Okay guys, I spent the better part of this morning worrying sick and wanting to climb up on a tall ladder because right there a mama bird kept perching and I heard babies in the wall crying like crazy. And now, I don't know if you can see in here, I've been reassured that they are okay. Oh my heck, they're so cute. They fledged. I walked over here and they popped out of the wall up into the ceiling. They're holding their beaks open for mom to feed them. They are still going to be cared for and protected by mom while they are getting used to being big baby birds. How sweet is that? They're so cute. They're not little, they're big. I'm so glad I didn't climb up on that ladder. Mama's been yelling at me. I think she's over here. I think that's Mama. She's been yelling at me to stay away while her babies learn how to fly. Oh, so cute. Tell you what, that mama instinct kicks in no matter what species it is. I really wanted to save those babies. I could hear them in the wall. And what probably happened is that the nest was in the wall, and as they were little it was fine. But because they got a little bigger and a little daring, they probably hopped off the edge of the nest and went down the wall, and it wasn't until their wings were able to get them all the way back up again. And the area where I suspect the nest was, based on where mom was perched, was just above the doorway. So it wasn't a deep drop for them, luckily. It was probably just to the top of the door, which was still a couple of feet, but they were finally able to pop out and they're flying around, learning their wings, and having mama still protect them and take care of them. That is so sweet. I love it. We've had a lot of bird nests this year in the barn, and we've watched a lot of families grow up, and it's been such a marvel to see Mother Nature and God's work working together and seeing them grow up and fly away. A lot of you have been curious about health updates. I'm finding that changing your diet completely is a lot harder than I thought it was. And I have a lot more empathy for people who have to eat a special diet and how hard it is to pick out things to eat. I had a couple of setbacks, learning curve situations this week that kind of got me a little emotional, I guess. It's hard. It's hard. It's really a lot harder than I thought it would be to get myself on the right diet. For instance, I thought I was doing really good and making an excellent lunch, and I added sweet relish to my tuna salad without even thinking about the fact that it had sugar in it. I can't have sugar. It was already too late by the time I did it, so I ate it. Here in the early stages, it's gonna be a lot easier for my body to clean out when I do make mistakes. So it's kind of natural to have some mistakes here in the beginning. And then last night I finished my dinner and I was still hungry because Liam stole half of my sweet potato. And I grabbed my jar of fermented okra pickles out of the fridge and ate a few. I thought, oh good, now I feel complete. Now I feel satisfied. And then I found out that okra is a nightshade. Yeah, that's not something I was aware of. I don't know how I could go my whole life growing okra and knowing as much as I do about horticulture and not realize that. I just always thought okra was related to hibiscus, not potatoes, not tomatoes. Anyway, so I'm over here at the chickens And I want to tell you guys that Ryan said there was only one egg yesterday. Those of you that have been keeping chickens for any amount of time, you probably know what that means. For those of you that don't, I guess I'll fill you in. It is August in Georgia. It is not fall yet, but fall is approaching, and apparently the birds' clock are telling them it's fall because chickens molt in the fall. So by molting, I mean they shed their feathers. During the process of shedding feathers, they stop laying. This can last several weeks. So we have all of our older girls that are molting or have begun molting. So the egg production is going to drop drastically, if not altogether, for those girls. The ones that we hatched this year should start laying any day now, and they won't go through a molt the first year. So that's one of the reasons why we always hatch out new layers every year. It's not just to keep the high egg inventory because older stock lays less and younger stock lays more, but because of this fall molt. It affects the egg production in the fall, and those young birds are going to be the only eggs we'll have during the molt. So it's a good idea to have different age chickens in your flock at all times. During this time, it's really good to add extra protein and extra calcium to your bird's diet, because they're going to begin to regrow those feathers that they lost, and they're going to need all the protein and calcium they can get. So we are lucky that we have the soldier fly larva that gives them that boost in protein, and we can give them oyster shells or crushed eggshells fed back to them so that they get that extra boost in calcium. Now, just because we're adding that extra protein and calcium, that doesn't mean they're going to start laying eggs again. It's just a matter of waiting it out and letting their bodies regrow. And that's okay if you know to expect it and plan on it. That's one of the things that you learn as a chicken keeper. So for my health journey, it's been interesting. I've been going through some detox symptoms. I've been going through some emotional symptoms. And I've been going through some learning curve issues with just figuring out the things that I can and can't eat, and knowing that there's gonna be some hiccups along the way, and I have to kind of forgive myself for that. That's hard for me to do. I'm a bit of a perfectionist at times, and it is hard for me to make mistakes and be okay with it, but I have to be. Some of you have asked what supplements I'm taking. They're mainly vitamins, A, B, C, and D, and curcumin are the main ones that I have added to my daily intake to help fight the symptoms of what I'm going through and hopefully repair some of the damage done by my thyroid. All of the goats are so happy because we got lucky and we found a source for orchard alfalfa that is the same price as what we were paying for the Bermuda that nobody liked. So we are now able to feed the choice hay to all of our goats. So the boys are super happy about that. Eugene, be nice and share. Don't be mean to Fluff or Nutter. As you can see, the girls are loving it. They are so happy to have this yummy alfalfa. Usually they would just have a flake of alfalfa and mostly Bermuda, but now that it's the same price, which actually ends up being cheaper because the place we're getting it from doesn't charge tax, and the place we were getting it in Bermuda from did charge tax, so it actually ends up being cheaper. Yay, happy us. Happy goats. A lot of people have asked what kind of a diet I'm on. It's called an autoimmune protocol, or AIP. There are different lists of foods to avoid depending on which list you look at. My list says to avoid all gluten, sugar, most grains, corn, beef, pork, dairy. He's allowing me my raw goat milk, thank goodness. Caffeine, citrus, all the nightshade family. So tomatoes, potatoes, and okra. I just found out last night or this morning, whatever. So it is a lot more complicated than people think, because they think, oh, you're gluten-free, that's easy. You can do this recipe, and they send me a recipe and it's got potato starch. Or they send me a recipe and it's got corn starch. So it's not that simple. That's why I'm not really reaching out and asking for recipe ideas, because it's a lot more complicated than it looks. So anyway, we're gonna keep staying strong, learning how to make new things, eating lots of sweet potatoes and chicken and veggies, which is good for me. No raw veggies though, especially not raw cruciferous vegetables like broccoli or cabbage. So thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.